Hey everybody, it's Mike Meyers here, starting off the first of what I hope to be many Ask Me Anything sessions. The whole goal for putting all this together really is to work with this coronavirus and the fact that so many of us are kind of stuck inside these days. And I thought this would be a great opportunity for those of you who are studying alone for CompTIA exams or who are working within a classroom environment now, probably remotely. This is a great opportunity for all of us to work together and see where this goes. So really, this all begins by everybody saying hello and start throwing questions at me. I'm ready. Yeah, I was thinking about wearing the hat, and I was like, it's actually kind of dirty right now, and I'd be embarrassed. You can't let a perfectly good Stetson 2.5-inch open road silver belly cowboy hat get dirty. So you get to see me the way I see myself every single day. All right. So what do I think about? Paul Murphy has a great question. What do I think about the home CompTIA test? I think they should have done this 5 years ago. I'm very excited that CompTIA has now finally made a decision for you to be able to actually take your CompTIA exams from any computer. It's not really so much home, but wherever it is. And for those of you who are unaware of this, yes, CompTIA is now rolling out. I don't have details on it yet. Check the CompTIA website for details. But yeah, they are setting it up where you're not going to have to go to a testing center. You can actually take this at home. That is all I know about it. And we're waiting for CompTIA to give out more details. Diego Medinas from Colorado. My grandsons are in Colorado. Thornton. Forrest Smith from Tennessee. I used to live in Memphis. Zach Harper, pleasure to be with you today too. Gino Rodeo Freer, tube thumbs up. And Artist for Life. He says I can't hear you. All right, but everybody else can hear me, right? Okay. Really, you're from Syria? Cool. All right. And we got a guy from India. Sorry about that. It's really hard to figure out what time to do these kind of things because, you know, I guess I am a little bit U.S. centric. So 2 p.m. here always seemed like a good number. But do keep in mind, guys, that if there are other times that these become more helpful, I'm open to ideas here. So we're not stuck on any particular time. I'm going to stay at 2 o'clock until somebody really motivates me to do otherwise. But I'm here to help you guys. So this is really your all's forum. So pseudo-journalist, is the fact that the tests are now going to be at home, are they going to drop the price? Don't think I've ever seen CompTIA drop a price on anything, but that is completely up to them. And again, I have no details yet, but it is a pretty good idea. Well, Vladislav, with a name like that, I would definitely think you're probably from Russia there, amigo. Wow, we're all over Europe today, too. Zach Harper asks, what's my take on IPv6 versus IPv4? IPv6 is fantastic, and it is wonderful, and it automates everything, and it makes my life very happy. IPv4 is a 40-year-old protocol that we are still suffering. Come on, aren't we tired of subnetting yet? Let's go with IPv6. Is after A+, is it better to go for Security Plus or Net Plus? So to me, I think the Network Plus is the most important exam you don't need. It is secure. Network Plus really provides a superb core understanding of a lot of stuff that you can get. These other certifications can get you the same place, But CompTIA does such an amazing job of staying vendor neutral on basic concepts like DNS, DHCP, switching, VLAN, VPN. Whereas if you start to go like a Cisco route on some of this more basic stuff or a Microsoft route on this, you tend to get their spin on it. And so I really, really, really like Network Plus. I think it is the one learning process that you will get the most eureka moments from. So Net Plus. I'm reading Mr. Fulgencio. I am doing A+ course now, as recommended from my manager. A lot of fun and a little bit frustrated. CompTIA Network Plus exams. What should I do to be more comfortable with the exam? Study. I don't know. I know this guy who writes some really good Network Plus books you might want to consider buying too, you know. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay. Hey, so before we get started, I got an announcement for you guys because y'all were kind enough. We're going to have this up on the YouTube channel, but I also want to mention of this, and that is, y'all ready? You want to save some money? Okay, so here's the deal. Go to totalsem.com, okay, which is my website, and we have got 50% off of all the videos, simulations, and practice tests. I'm assuming this is for A+, Net Plus, and Security Plus. I'm sure someone's about to text me and confirm that for me. All you have to do is you have to use the code MMLIVE, MMLIVE30. So MMLIVE30. Yep, that's just been confirmed. Okay, so this is an amazing deal. We're literally cutting everything half price across the board. The simulations, the practice tests, and all the videos. So certainly this could be a very good deal. Again, the passcode is MMLive30. Here, I'm going to just type that in right there. So that's the code you need to type in. All right, so back to this, and I'll mention this again as more people join in. You just started your course in A+, and I have to say I can stop watching. You got a bit confused on RAID controllers. Okay. I'm going to avoid any talk about the virus or any crises that might come from. Let's stick with the technology and studying right now. I'm trying to learn subnetting right now. Any advice? Keep practicing. Just keep practicing over and over again and pray that IPv6 comes along, and hopefully we won't be doing much subnetting there. Is it worth it to skip right to the CCNA, or should I do Net Plus first? I think that, like I said earlier, Net Plus provides a core understanding of networking that you're not going to get from Cisco or Microsoft or anybody else. I like Network Plus. I think it's going to make your CCNA a lot easier. That's my opinion. The CompTIA just announced that they're doing their tests online. Go to CompTIA.org. Here, I'll type that in. So go to the CompTIA website and get the details there about how they can do your own online testing. If I have an old A+ and haven't had an IT job, should I get certified with the new cert? I don't know. How old is it? You know, I mean, if it's 3 years old, I wouldn't call that old. If it's 15 years old, then yeah, probably. The thing is that 15 years old, then yeah, probably. The thing is that people in technical interviews really don't ask when you got certified, you know, as long as you say you got it. Can you please collaborate on the best way to keep CompTIA certs up to date? You mean your certs? Well, you know, according to CompTIA, you got to retake them every 3 years. But then also keep in mind, and people don't take advantage of this, but CompTIA has some really nice deals on continuing education, showing up at a conference. Shoot, I just thought of this now. I probably could have made this a continuing education credit for CompTIA stuff. But you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I got to retake the A+ every 3 years. And to me, you take the A+ once, maybe twice, but then your career moves forward, and then you're into Cisco stuff, or you're into Microsoft, or you're configuring Juniper, or you're setting up web pages and stuff like that. And so those certifications begin to fade as you move forward. For certain people, they do recertify all the time. But in general, I would like to think people keep moving on. CCNA is tough. No argument there, man. Do I have a college degree? Who is this artist of life who keeps asking all these questions? No, artist of life, I do not have a college degree because I was too busy making money in technology and it just didn't make sense to me. So me and Bill Gates and Michael Dell, none of us really have degrees except for honorary ones. Do I need a degree to get a job in the IT service industry? No. It can often help a lot. I think the IT service industry also does pretty well for people going for, here in the United States, we call them associates or 2-year degrees, but you don't. But I will guarantee you that in most cases, if you're working in a larger organization, that there will be a certain time where you're going to want to go ahead and get that degree. But hopefully you're making plenty of money, then you can go to night school and finish up. Oh, goodness, I'm getting a lot of questions here. Okay. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. So I'm waiting for Artist of Life ask me what my shoe size is or something next year. Will Mike Meyers ever do a CCNA series? Keep asking. I won't lie that I'm going to say I've thought about it. I just, there's a couple of good Cisco trainers out there, but I love Cisco. I love their products, but their training methodologies are just draconic. Why would you have a CCIE teaching or writing a book for CCNA? I mean, they're so far in the stratosphere that they've forgotten the little people. We're going to transfer from the current infrastructure to Cisco Meraki tools. Okay. Well, preparation on that? I'm not sure right now. It's because it's not something I'm playing with so far. Is there a chance to work with CompTIA A+ certification at any part of the world? Yes, they have certification almost everywhere. Go to the CompTIA website. They have lots of details on that. I have 14 from, geez, okay. Artist of Life, you're going to be my nebbish here, huh? All right. I have knowledge on CCN, RNS, which job role match to me? You pick the job you want. I mean, look, this industry is way too hard to not love it. My idea of a red hot Saturday night is dismantling some new piece of software or playing with some kind of technology. I mean, if you don't love this stuff, so find where your passions are. I mean, that's the one good thing that, especially like for security guys, the main reason Security Plus is so wonderful is because it really begins to expose you to the breadth of what security is. IT security is a massive, massive concept. And probably my favorite part about Security Plus is it really wakes you up about, what aspect of IT security you want to get into. Is Houston or Dallas a better job market for IT? Well, up until about 2 weeks ago, I would have said they're both fantastic. Right now, I'm not sure. Can you take CompTIA 1001? Yes. CompTIA has made an announcement that they're going to allow at-home testing. I have no details on it yet. It just came out, but it's my understanding that the answer is yes. On the A+ PBQs for disk management, what do you think we should? I don't even understand what that means. I'm going to refer to my gang here. Galaxy Fold. I have the best toys. Neener, neener, neener. Okay. Mike, are you planning to make live videos with other YouTubers? Like, I've thought about some of those guys, and I just don't know them. And I've certainly watched some of their stuff. I think they have some good stuff. Keep hitting me, Vladislav. That's not the worst idea I've ever heard. If I set a password on admin account on router and I forget it, can I reset the router and clear settings? Yes. I'm assuming you're talking about a Cisco router. There's probably some button settings you have to hold down. Look up the model number for your Cisco router, see what the factory default reset is, and you're rolling. Just go for Linux Plus. Yeah, I've been thinking about that too. I use Linux a lot, but usually more for more specific systems, or like my garage door opener, for example, is on Linux. But yeah. I also have to mention I had 2 bicycles stolen yesterday because my garage door opener decided to spontaneously open on me, and they stole my beautiful new bikes. All right. Hey, we got a guy, Argentina. Don't cry for me. De nada. Yo hablo español para gringos solamente. Do I use Ubuntu as my daily driver? No, mainly because of two things. Well, mainly because of Microsoft. We just lean so heavily on Office 365, and I know you can kind of force Ubuntu to do that, but I do use Ubuntu for most of my security systems, my laptops and stuff. I tend to run, and I'm not talking live CD. I'm talking actually installed on hard drive Ubuntu systems, wireless hacking tool sets, like that stuff. It's a lot more convenient. Do you think the current infrastructure can handle everyone working from home? Well, so far it has, but yeah, I'm a little nervous about that too. We'll see what happens. Is it secure to work from home? Sure, just keep your doors locked, and I think I know what you're saying. You're only as secure as the remote tools that you're using. You'd have to ask me what type of tools you're using. Most of them are pretty good these days. After passing, what next course? Well, after A+, you've got a lot of choices. CompTIA gives some wonderful trees in terms of where you might want to go. The question you have to have is, what do you want to do? I mean, do you want to be an infrastructure guy? You want to be setting up and configuring routers and setting up servers? And, maybe you ought to take a look at going with your CCNAs and start going that way. If you want to start turning into more like a support person, start looking at your Microsoft. If you, there's just so many options there. You really have to start saying, what aspect of this technology do I like? This is often a challenge for me, especially with high schoolers who really don't have, people are, 15, 16, 17 years old, and they just say, I want to be in computers. And that's great, but you need to have a sense of what does that mean? Because everybody's different. Just because develop web pages, the other one might want to do something horrible like write code. I don't like writing code, but I work with scripts as needed. So there's always a different part. You've got to explore and see what it's all about. Is hyperthreading only for Intel? Artist of life, you're just trying to torture me. You like the man in the box analogy? I came up with that sitting on a beach in Galveston, Texas, and it was like, the problem with us nerds is that we want to learn all about the technology, but there has to be a point where I just don't want to learn anymore. And so I call that the black box. So for most people, once you get down to the CPU itself and, have a basic understanding of, bus width, CPU speed, caching, stuff like that, most people don't want to go much past that. I do. So that's why I kind of opened that black box analogy, and it helps me, especially if you are trying to understand things like hyperthreading, throttling, caching, what really is the difference between L1, L2, L3 cache, that type of thing. I like that analogy. It works well for me, and it stood the test of time for almost 20 years now. All of Microsoft's certs are now Azure. Yep. No, not at all. I got to tell you, Azure has a very respectable part of the cloud community, and I think if you want to get into an Azure type of environment, then that's the way you should go. I'm not against Server Plus, but if you were trying to get a job with a company that's Azure based and you had Azure certs, that's probably going to put your resume towards the top of the stack. Yeah, don't tease me about my Spanish. Yo tengo el mustacho muy guapo. So Dominic's doing the ITF video series with Scott Jernigan. Shout out to Scott. Yeah, I like the ITF. It's a really good one. Oh, here we go. You guys, can you talk about dynamic disks and MBR and GPT? Paul, you know what? I'm going to write a notation for me to talk about dynamic disks. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I think it's a good topic. And Paul, this is part of this. Hey, Paul, type in. Paul, can you come tomorrow at 2:00? I'll let you type that in and let me know. I love dynamic disks. I think they're incredibly powerful, and I use them all the time. Which certification would make the most money as a career choice? the certification that you love, that you have passion about, that you want to be a part of. And Nathaniel, anytime people type questions to me, little question marks, I ignore it. Especially if I'm typing a text and you type in a question mark, I'm like, you're going to have to actually make me a question. So please, it drives crazy. All right, I'm building a gaming PC, Intel or Ryzen. I'm still a Ryzen fan, although Intel's doing pretty good. I'm still with Ryzen, especially the price points. What do I think about the CS research community? I'm not sure what that means. CS, computer science research community as a whole around the world. It's great. CH is an area I'm looking to get into. It's really, really hard to do certified ethical hacker courses, mainly because the way their certification works, they really kind of, like, if you don't go through their training, it's a gray area, and I'm probably not going to for that reason. You covered a lot about home routers and industry routers, but you didn't talk about hot spotting from my iPhone. Where should be classified exactly? I certainly talk about hot spotting. What more? I mean, it's pretty easy to set up on all the platforms. You're going to have to ask me a better question than that. I read the chapter on user groups and policy last night. It's a good idea to have the computer owner create an administrator account instead of using theirs. Actually, that's not a bad idea at all, Nathaniel. I wouldn't disagree with that. How long the session will last? What session? I don't know what you mean by session. All right, so Paul, you'll be here tomorrow? All right, Paul, tomorrow we'll do dynamic disc as a personal favor to you. Part of the reason is I'm trying to set up a whiteboard on this, and I don't have it, and I would like to have a whiteboard while we're talking about that kind of stuff. Is there a way to restore a deleted file by shift delete? Yeah, just get any old undeleter. You can you don't want to quick format it, but yeah, if you quick format it, you've lost the opportunity. Oh, so I do want to make a point on the certified ethical hacker. We actually have a pen testing, also certified ethical hacker video. I don't remember who the wonderful artist is who's doing that one, but we do have one. Also, we're going to somehow, somebody in my office is volunteering to post the CompTIA roadmap. Probably if you could just type in the link for where it is at CompTIA might be better. Dave, thank you for that, though. Finally, we got some teachers. Hi, Christy. I teach Security Plus at Red Community College in Colorado. Woo, Colorado. Christy, go to the Total 7 website. Call our 800 number. We'll get you with one of the folks who could probably help answer that question for you. Where do I live? I live in the center of Houston, Texas. I live in a groovy part of Houston called Montrose. And that's where I'm talking to you from, is my dining room. Yeah, there'll be a 2 o'clock. Paul, I'm going to be doing these at 2 o'clock every day for a while. And as we get, today's really kind of a test drive to see where people are interested and where they want to go. It's always going to have an AMA format to it to some extent, but I also want to stress that, like, for example, Paul Murphy asked Paul, you asked a question about the drives, and so that's just something we can save for tomorrow, and then we can really concentrate on that. Yes, $15 bill. I got a job as a Office 365 Exchange engineer, like help desk. That's a great place to start. Exchange engineers, they're great jobs. You're probably going to find yourself, evolving past that faster than you might think. But yeah, they're great jobs. Getting a job, making money, good stuff. This is one thing that always frustrates me about a lot of people who are, they look at certifications as like this panacea that's going to instantly get them a job. And the only thing a certification is going to do more often than not is put you at the top of a stack of resumes. Okay. You're still going to have to do well in technical interviews. You're still going to have to show some kind of experience. Keep in mind, there's lots of entry-level jobs out there. I get frustrated with people like, well, I can't find a job. I was like, where do you live? Well, I live in teeny tiny upstate New York, population 43. I'm like, okay, why don't you move? Oh, I can't move. And it's like, okay. I understand now. Good luck. Do you think your Network Plus videos need to be updated? Nope. I think they are running perfectly with the current Net Plus exams. Do you use technology to augment your regular daily life? Well, I have bionic arms. No, this is actually interesting. I was playing with Internet of Things a lot, and I had Google Home in here big time. I had 3 Google Home Minis running, a bunch of Philips, the light bulbs. I've got Nest thermostats laying around, and they're fun and all that, but I've discovered something, especially with lights. Most of the time, it's a lot faster to flip on a switch than saying things like, okay, Google, turn on the master bedroom lights to 50%. Or I can just go and flip the switch.
All right, let me get some more
here, Google heard that. They got excited. All right. Can you insert subs in other languages in your videos? I don't know. Mike, is it an obligation to know every CPU and match socket for the exam and how much a pin that? No, you absolutely not. But you should have some comfort with, like, the top 3 AMD and Intel socket types and the corresponding CPUs, and that's going to be more than enough. I go into a little more depth, not because it's on the exam, but more importantly, there's a lot of concept stuff. And if you look in those chapters, I put a lot of, this is historical, conceptual kind of stuff. Which certs are enough to get a basic help desk job? I'll tell you right now, Christopher, there's so many people desperate for help desk support that you probably don't even need any certificates. Udemy subs many languages. None of our other video offerings do that I'm aware of. So are you talking for this? I don't know. When does 1001 and 1002 A plus end? I think we got about at least 2 more years. CompTIA hasn't said anything, so there's plenty of life in those. Oh, artist of life. You said in A plus videos that dynamic disk, we're going to talk about all this tomorrow. Tomorrow is dynamic disk day and basic disk day. And, we'll throw in some RAID if anybody needs a little brush up on that too. Do you need to get A plus certified before getting Linux Plus certified? No, but most people do. There's no rule. There's no committee out there that, defines what you have. You can take anything in any order. It is a de facto, just through consensus of people like me, that you would probably want to take A plus as one of your first certifications and take stuff after that. So A plus before Security Plus, I think you would do better. Linux Plus, sorry. In your honest perspective, what is your thoughts on iOS jailbreaking in regards to being a good alternative to buying Android? Look, iOS is a great operating system. For me, I have like 4 phones. So this is my unrooted. It's unlocked, but it's not rooted. And this is my go-to phone. I have other phones laying around here that are running like Kali and things like that. And those I root and all that type of stuff. I'm unaware that Apple, in a jailbreak situation, really has the breadth of more interesting software, shall we say, that you can get with Android. I personally don't see a motivation to jailbreak a iOS phone, although I'm going to see what my guys say in response to that, because that's really more of an opinion than anything else. How long will I talk today? I'm only going to be for an hour, so we're actually already halfway through this. Again, I'm willing. I rarely want to see myself talking for more than an hour, but I'm even willing, if the situation comes up, where I might be able to even do a second 1 hour in certain situations. But it's really going to be you guys trying to sell me on that more than anything else. Is this Skype or Zoom? This is YouTube, man. It's got its own little streaming thing. It's very groovy. Vladislav, I'm telling you, man, I'm liking you, dude. I triggered every. Okay, Google. I get so little humor. What do you say to Siri? Hi, Siri. Hello, Siri. Okay, Siri. Okay, I won't do that again.
So excited.
God bless it. I did it to myself, too. All right, I won't do that again. Can you please share your thoughts on network automation and the relevance currently? You're going to have to. Sorry, again, you're going to have to detail that question out a little bit. You're very welcome. What's my take on Linux Plus versus LPIC? Can't you, if you have one, aren't you automatically getting the other one? Am I wrong there? I thought they had a deal with those. That if you get your Linux Plus, you automatically get an LPIC. Good God, please somebody double check me on that one. I like Linux Plus. The later versions of it, CompTIA has done a really good job of doing what it's supposed to do, and that is to show that you have a basic understanding of dealing with a standalone Linux system. I think it does pretty good. Yeah, we'll see what CompTIA wants to do in terms of extending certifications. You know, is this going to last 2 more months, or is this going to be 16 months, 18 months? Actually, I'm hearing some of that too. So I will tell you, it's surprised me how much the business community and government here in the States, how much they've really pulled together, and everything from property taxes to, everything's people are really helping out here. So we'll see what CompTIA does. Is the IT fundamentals cert worth it? I think it is, but it's really, for me, it is like the ultimate starter cert. I think it gives you some very core stuff. I think the IT fundamentals is really more for people who would not be going the A+ Net Plus track, in my opinion. It's also really handy to be done in a high school environment. I think Scott Jernigan's videos are absolutely amazing on these. And because, again, can you tell us what you think about Apple products, phones, computers shortly? And are they special to you personally? There's 3 guys who work for me who are laughing right now because I like Apple quite a bit. Apple products, we use them heavily at Total Seminars. Most of our video development platforms are on Macs. I like the flexibility of Android versus Apple phones. I like, it's. I guess it's a matter of taste. If I was going to give somebody a phone, a smartphone, and I didn't want them to call me very often, I would probably give them a Apple product. Apple's really do, in terms of user interface and configuration, are, I think, superior to Android. That's about all I think that they're better at. Phil, we do have a PenTest Plus course that we have here at Total Seminars. It's a great course, but I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to really give you a lot of my personal opinion on PenTest Plus versus CEH. The one thing I will say is everybody knows CEH, and PenTest Plus is still relatively new, so we'll have to see what happens over time. So is anybody else getting a frozen stream? Or is it locking up on anybody? Is cybersecurity the next biggest technology field? I don't really visualize a difference between what generically we call IT security versus cybersecurity. I think security is still moving along. Yeah, okay. Cable modem or anything like that. So my connection to YouTube is extremely fast. So I will not sure what I can do about this. I'll try to be more careful. We'll see what we can do. Sorry. Nancy Meadows. Hey, Nancy. Why do a lot of employers prefer experience over certs? Well, this would go for any industry. It's not unique to IT. The thing that you guys need to remember is that you have so much experience that you never talk about. Because for a lot of y'all, you think, well, I don't have a job with computers, therefore I don't have experience. Volunteer work with churches or nonprofit organizations, working with schools, all of this stuff adds up as experience. So if you're sitting here going, I don't have any experience, well, you've got tons of it. Go out there and give it a try. Try working on your friends and family's computers, and get yourself the experience you need. Very funny, Christopher. I'm just reading here, folks. Regarding the network automation, I love the networking side, and I am a CCNA. Cool. I am busy with VMware, but I'm trying to decide which course is to follow, advance my career. Would love your input. I'm serious, Paul. It's gigabit Ethernet. I've got native gigabit Ethernet. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Is now a good time to get into the IT field? Diego, it's always a good time to get in IT. We're always going to need IT support everywhere. It's just always going to happen. It's never a bad time to get in IT. The trick is what aspect of IT do you want to get into, and what are you willing to invest to get to that point? Is it really going to take 12 months to prepare for the CompTIA A+ exam? No. If you're using one of my books, I spend the first chapter or the intro, depending on what you're looking at, it really goes into a matrix for you to figure out how long. For most people, if they're really putting some time into it, I wouldn't think it would take more than 90 days. A lot of schools, like months, that's just the program you've decided. I know people who teach it in 80 hours. But what do we got here? It's really going to take, okay. If Google DNS server can never go down, why should we use ISP's DNS servers? Because it's usually your closest server. It's often the fastest server. I usually just use a Google as a secondary. You also might want to keep in mind somewhere within your network infrastructure, there might be motivations for you to have to use an ISP or an upstream DNS server that's more where you are. So my opinion on Coursera is good. I like them. Some of them to me come off a little easy, but other than that, yeah, no, they're good. They're good. Do I ship out of USA like Cyprus? So what you got to do is invite me to go to Cyprus, because I've always wanted to go. My partner's been there. He loves it. Says it's an amazing place. And, I assume we ship anywhere. It's just some of these international shipping costs for just a book or something are outrageous, absolutely outrageous. What soft skills do you find important for a help desk or a support desk profession? Oops, sorry, we don't ship overseas. Oh, Dave, we ship. Okay. One of my guys at the office says we don't ship overseas. Okay. The most important soft skill is learning how to listen. As nerds, we always think we have all the answers. And when somebody starts talking, the first thing we want to do is like, oh, okay, we got it. Just stop talking and let me tell you the answer that you need. And you're often wrong. So number one is being able to have really adult listening skills. And then number two is empathy. It's hard to be in those types of situations and being empathetic to the person. And if you're in an A+, we've got a great chapter on that too. Can we download in PDF? No, we tried doing that and I basically got robbed. So they quit doing that. What do I play now? I'm playing, believe it or not, the old Age of Empires real-time strategy game. Got a high def makeover last year, and they made it a little bit prettier, improved the animations and some of the AI. And I'm actually playing, believe it or not, I'm playing Age of Empires more than anything else. Does the virus affect your work at any side in these days? Yeah, sure. It affects all of us. I'm a pretty sociable person, and for me to sit in a house by myself like this is like, you just put prison bars in front of me, and it's pretty irritating. Start putting hash marks on the walls. Those are a complete course in and of themselves, but they're designed to work with my book. I like all of my practice questions for anybody who's attending. I'm going to count on somebody from Total Seminars to. Yeah, so just to remind you guys, just because you're nice enough to be here today, everything on here, I'll type it in. So that's my website. And if we type in, what was that code again? Sorry. Yeah, MM Live 30. So all you got to do is type in MM Live 30, and everything is 50% off. It's a fire sale, viral sale. It's going viral. What's my favorite coffee? What do I drink? The donut place, Dunkin' Donuts. How to run an old game on Windows 10. All the Artists of Life, you crack me up. Yeah, it's what game? Go online, pick the game. There's emulation. Windows has some pretty good support for older software. Right-clicking on it, most of the time it runs. I've never played League of Legends. It just didn't caught me as my kind of game, so I haven't played it. Yeah, CCNA was hard. Xbox or PlayStation? Sorry, Dominic. I have a much better gaming platform. It's called a PC. Yeah, so I don't console. What's MTG? Somebody who's cooler than me, tell me what MTG stands for. Yes, Scott Jernigan. I'm an extrovert in solitude. Are you much of the modern games for consoles like Nintendo Switch? No. I do play some of the more modern games. No, I don't. I'm trying to. I've played every game once. I'm playing Space Engineers a little bit right now. It's a pretty frustrating game, but we'll get there. So what do I put on an anti-malware thumb drive to boot from it? Man, I got to tell you, first of all, that's a very good idea. To have a live anti-malware thumb drive is something everybody should have. My problem is I can never pick one. I would have to actually go upstairs. I'm downstairs. I had to run upstairs and actually look. I don't even know what I'm using these days. I'm always trying something new. But having a bootable anti-malware disk is a very, very smart idea. Yes, I am a PC master racer. There's no doubt about that. Is this the ending? No, my friends, this is just the beginning. Or it's the beginning of the end, as Winston Churchill would say. All right. How? That's one way to say it. All right, the guys at Total are all big into malware bytes for bootable thumb drives. I guess that's fine, sure. What is the hardest certification to take? Of any certification ever? CCIE, probably. One of the specialty CCIEs. Pretty hard. Magic the Gathering. Yeah, I've heard about it. How many years does it take me to get where I am now? 58. That's scary, man. Like writing out the word 2020, to me, that's like a Buck Rogers space date, and it's craziness. I used to play D&D. I'm kind of out of D&D these days. Masters of Orion. Oh, man. Really? How do I feel about DRM? Are they too intrusive? Depends on the DRM you're talking about. I think in general, the amount of people who are trying to make money developing games, they're getting robbed. Did you guys know that on Steam, it's something like, I don't want to lie, but I seem to remember hearing like you get 1,000 games a day are being put onto Steam, and it's always true. Yeah, Artist of Life, I love you, man. You can Danny O'Neill. Danny O'Neill. Man, with a name like that, lad, I know I've got to like you. I only look 28. You're the MVP. Okay. I have an old PC running Windows 7 Pro. I only use it to practice remote access. Should I be worried about security issues with it? I think you're okay right now. If you need to keep Windows on it, you'd probably want to go up to 10 eventually. But for practicing remote access, remember you can do a lot of this within a Linux environment too. Any courses in telecommunications? No. Mike, do you think your courses are concrete enough for someone from beginning to become an expert without taking any of your courses anywhere else? No, but I think my courses will give you a heck of a good start to get you there. What's my So are you saying you have to only take one person for all of your courses? Start with me and then go somebody else. Mike, I don't know about Moo with DOSBox, but I think it. Do you get into Command and Conquer games? No Command and Conquer. Do you feel the U.S. government needs a cybersecurity agency? Well, it kind of does. They've had a security czar since the Obama days. I guess, I don't know if Trump cut those guys out too. Yeah, Danny, I'm looking for a discount too. Danny, I'll tell you what. Go to my website, www.total7.com, type in NMLive30, and I will give you anything on my website half off. Just for you, Danny. Everyone should be on Windows 10 in regards to the Windows platform. We're getting there. Do you have to be good at maths? Maths. Do you have to be good in maths and IT, or does it depend on the IT field area? I don't know what good is. I mean, you should be comfortable with math, I would think. NSA and Air Force do cyber. Oh, they sure do. Here in the U.S., we have a program called Cyber Patriot, which is a wonderful program where you basically get a virtual machine and you try to secure it one way or another, right? So and then they pen tested it as part of the competition. It's a wonderful program here in the U.S. What are your thoughts on video game emulation and the arguments for preservation? I guess I don't really have any thoughts on that. There's certainly some halfway decent emulators for certain games like that. Okay, which system between Windows and Linux will you recommend to use as a network admin? You mean like your main system where you're just sitting down and looking at other stuff? So there's a guy in my office, his name's Michael Smyer, and he's a big Apple guy, and he does almost all of our network administration, and he primarily uses his Mac. And I got to tell you, Macs kind of are starting to impress me in terms of for, like, if you're a Linux head and you want to get to a terminal and do stuff for development tools, it's not bad. So Macs, maybe Linux. Which cursus you've done? I do not know this language of which you speak. Cursus. I have done the curse of something. Would I turn you into a newt? Hey, Mike and Scott, what would be a good for kids to get started learning IT? Wow, there's a big question. Gaming has really been a good thing, but there's a certain point where gaming stops working. To me, gaming is good for Masters of Orion with a DOS emulator. Okay, sorry. I said CISSP. What did I say? No. I think CCIE is harder than CISSP. Scott Jernigan is texting me. You're wrong. Dominic, how old are these kids? I mean, that'd be part of the question. You don't do much coding. What language do you script with? Whatever I need. For the most part, it really just, I don't like to write stuff because I know it's already been written by somebody. Microsoft has massive libraries, all kinds of scripts for any kind of job. So I think about what do I want to do, and then I go trying to dig a script. And again, I'm kind of Windows centric here, and as long as it would run in Windows, and so much does now, that I'll just pick whatever it is. And I mean, anybody can go through a script and change the insert your domain here to your domain and type in the right IP address and little settings like that. So it's whatever has the easiest tools. Who are my favorite tech YouTubers? I do like Linus Tech Tips. I'm not against 8-Bit Guy. Here, I'm going to actually I can't do that. Hold on. I'm going to give you an answer. So my experience on YouTube is really more of a place to relax. The Romanoffs, A Real History. That's what I was watching last. Who am I subscribed to these days? Android developers, Cold Fusion, CompTIA, no big surprise there. Hack 5, which has been pretty good. Keith Barker, Linus Tech Tips, 10,000 space things. I'm a space nut. And of course, my personal favorite, Simply Sarah. It's a lady, she cooks old time stuff that I like. And this is it's Scott Manley. So those are the people I tend to watch. But I'm going to check out the ones that you put in there. I'm going to check that out. I know this isn't an IT question, but I've spent many hours listening to you. What's my life like? Do you have children? A wife? I have a grown daughter. I got 2 grandkids. I live alone in this big, beautiful townhouse. I cook all the time. I'm single, and I grilled 2 tenderloins today. Then I'm going to sit here and talk with you guys for a few more minutes. I'm going to probably work on some Security Plus stuff today, and come around 5 o'clock, probably jump in the hot tub. It's good to live in a warm place, and stare at the walls. This coronavirus, I've watched everything. I've watched all the YouTubes. I'm kind of done. I'm trying to work out a little bit more. Gotten a little chubby. I definitely enjoy some fun diversions, good friends, and a lot of remote stuff that are going on. Linus is great. He's a great presenter. 11-year-olds. Dominic, at age 11, these kids are really ready. Give them a local area network and just have them do stuff together. Actually, successful interconnection is really a big opener for people the first time that they can make Google work on their system. But you're definitely looking for kinesthetic stuff, making them plug things in, making them actually configure stuff. And I think kids tend to really like that stuff. Yes, Mr. Fulgens, go do the exams. Here you go. Here, I'm happily dispensating you. You may do the exams. Dominic said, thank you, Scott. Yeah, thank you, Scott. I say it all the time. How is that folding phone? Is it any good? It's fantastic. It's, I got a complete. I do the monochrome because I think it looks good. So this is a completely functional phone here. I don't have to open this phone to do anything, but YouTube videos and stuff like that on the larger screen. The screen is done well. I've had it now for about 3 months. No problems with it. So far, so good. Yeah, I've actually seen a lazy game. I'm sorry. I miss people. My videos and practice exams are enough to pass the exam. Yes. Yep. Tenderloins. So actually here in Houston, we have all these restaurants and they're just not selling much. So some of these big fancy high-end steakhouses are actually selling their like USDA prime for like ridiculously low prices. So yeah. Lazy Game Reviewer, I will check. I've seen those guys. Modern Vintage Gaming and Live Overflow. All right, thanks, man. I will definitely check them out. What's your take on security of IoT devices? One moment, please. They suck. Right now, IoT security, I've literally unplugged all my Google Home stuff. Not because I'm particularly worried about Google Home, but some of the devices I was plugging into that whole Google Home sphere were not playing well. I've got some security cameras that have actually got a common vulnerability database listing as totally hackable. It's patched and everything, but I don't have much security outside of a regular run-of-the-mill firewall for the house, and without that, I'm just getting paranoid. So no, I think IoT devices are not very secure in general, and if you're going to be using them, you have a obligation to be, looking at the manufacturers or make sure they have update capabilities and stuff like that, because there's a bunch of things that people tend to sneak in. Mike, do you think academic research brings more money or certifications? Because published science brings more money. I would think academic research would. That's just my feeling on that. If you are my manager, what are the top 3 courses will you recommend me first as a network admin or technical support engineer? Well, if a tech support engineer doesn't mean anything. I mean, are you just like a help desk kid, or are you actually like running screwdrivers? Yeah. Yeah, Scott, didn't he say practice questions in there too? I generally like to play by myself, mainly because playing with you young guys and you all have all those fast twitch muscles and you make a fool out of me. And so I've been playing by myself more than anything else. Announcement. I'm sure if you go to the CompTIA website, www.comptia.org, they'll give you some information on there. And we're going to learn together what they're doing. Okay. Have I watched Mr. Robot? Lots of times. Great show. What's your favorite antivirus security? I'm not even going to touch that because it changes constantly. And, I'm just going to stay away from that one. All right. Let's get one more question in. All right. You guys ready? Is A+ Net Plus worth it if I'm going for my Security Plus? Network Plus definitely is. So many people go into security without enough understanding of the technologies. The top 3 courses I would give to employees. So, well, no, okay. Sorry, Christopher. We're going to sneak in one more for Gino here. I want to hear about the top 3 courses. You mean like just regular rank and file people, like trying to teach users and stuff like that? I've never actually looked for any courses like that, but that is a very interesting thing. Mike Meyers does training courses for just like regular people who have to use computers. Man, it's been a long time since been to Hawaii. I'll tell you, I used to teach at Schofield Barracks at Pearl Harbor, and I always used to have an extra day there, because jet lag, But okay, guys, I'm afraid it's 3:00. I've got to stop. I will be back tomorrow at 2:00. We're going to be working on making the technology a little bit better. This is pretty good, but I think we can do better. We are going to be, I guarantee we will have one topic tomorrow, which is going to be talking about Windows, Microsoft drives. We're going to be talking about basic versus dynamic disks and stuff like that. We'll probably throw in some of the software RAID aspects and a few things like that. And my steaks are done, and I'm going to go eat those steaks right now. So till tomorrow, guys, thank you so much for showing up. It's been a lot of fun having you here. This is a tough thing we're all going through together. So this is the type of communication we're going to have to be more comfortable with. I want you to know that I will be here every day, Monday through Friday at 2:00. If we do make any changes on that, we'll certainly make an announcement. But for right now, In fact, I'll make it easy. This week, we're going to stay Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock, and then we'll see where we're going from there. Wonderful questions, guys. Thank you so much for really making great input. And I will see you guys all tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Let's do it again. Yay! All right. Bye.